Good evening, and welcome to Socrates Garrett Live. Now, our show is going to be different for the next several programs. It's going to be different in many ways. And the primary reason that it's going to be different is because I have decided that I am the best candidate for the mayor of the city of Jackson. Now, I'm going to let that sink in for just a moment, and we're going to come back and deal with it. But all of you that are watching us all over the world, on Facebook and YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, we want you to share this program with your friends and family. It's tremendously important. Now, let's get right into our show. We're not going to be long today. But I decided that my skill set and my resume was the best resume that this city could find at this time to try and restore confidence and trust in our government and in our leadership. And I decided that because I am experienced, I am invested, and I am committed to making this city a better place. Let's look at it. My resume includes having worked on all of the infrastructure that's in Jackson, Mississippi, have installed more water lines and sewer lines than any other contractor of African American descent. Not naturally, we don't get as much work as our counterparts. But we have done that. My resume includes having run and operated the wastewater treatment facility, specifically the dewatering plant, for over 10 years. We have run the Presidential Hills wastewater treatment plant for over 10 years in this city. We've transported all of the biosolids that was produced and incorporated into 1,000 acres of land all over the county and some outside of the county. We are experienced. We have run the C&D landfill at Byron. We have planted hay on the landfill property to be able to get the nitrogen out of the soil that comes from so much fertilizer and things of that nature. We have run the O.B. Curtis watering plant, specifically the dewatering operation and the centrifuge system, and we have moved all of the alum sludge to the fuel water plant when we thought we were going to close it several years ago. Just to learn that Jackson could not close the fuel plant, which provides some 25% of its drinking water still until today. We've had hands-on experience in making these things work. We are experienced in that we did all of the bank stabilizations, and specifically on Eubanks Creek, we put all of the gabion baskets in there. We rip-wrapped all of these creeks. And we've done this for over 35 years. Experience. There's no one in Jackson, Mississippi that has more experience in working and assisting and running this city of Jackson. Experienced. We are proud to say that we were elected as the chairman of the Greater Jackson Chamber Partnership, some 2,500 member organization, 85 to 90% of those being Caucasian, selected me as their leader. And we were able to work on the 2020 vision plan. Experienced. Understanding the need, the philosophy, and the vision of John McGowan, who wanted to bring hotels and beachfront property down to Jackson on the mighty Pearl River. We were part of that team and that vision. Experienced. We served on the levee board for 8 years, made many trips to Washington, D.C. to visit with the late Senator Thad Cochran, the current Senator Roger Wicker. We have dined with these gentlemen, and they understand my skills, my commitment, and my capacity. Going to Washington on many occasions to sit and visit with the Congressman Benny Thompson to make absolutely certain that his ideas and suggestions and concepts were incorporated into the plan to bring one lake into Jackson, Mississippi, and to make absolutely certain that we had diversity, that we included African Americans that live and reside in the areas that this one lake was going to affect. That's experience. So let's move on for just a moment. Let's talk about being invested. Now, invested. We have invested more money, our private funds, than anyone else that I can think of in the city of Jackson, trying to make it a better place. A lot of times we talk negatively about the Siemens project, and many people don't understand exactly why Siemens project came along in the very first place. The Honorable Mayor Harvey Johnson found himself in a situation where he was either going to have to raise the taxes on the citizens, which he just did not want to do, and received a proposal from one of the largest companies in the world, a contract and a concept that was approved by the Mississippi Development Authority, the only way you could enter into an energy performance contract, that said that we were going to generate revenue by requiring those that actually use the service just to pay their fair share. We were producing 100% of our water, but we had a loss of greater than 50%, meaning we were producing water, but we were only billing for about 50%. And so we invested in that concept, and we invested in the minority business community to make absolutely certain that we were involved in many ways. Invested. The Ferry Street program and project. Private money. We put our money, private money, into trying to restore Ferry Street. The city of Jackson did not put one dime into trying to restore Ferry Street. All private money and some state funds were used. And Socrates Garrett Enterprises did a lot of the demolition, did a lot of the street work down there, and never received a dime. As a matter of fact, we are some $500,000 invested into Ferry Street that we will never recover. But we are committed to this city. Invested. I am one of 3 individuals that put over $3 million of private money into trying to restore the Metro Center, which had been abandoned by city leaders and the businesses for over 20 years. Invested. We currently are trying our very best to find developers that will work with us in restoring that part of town. It's critically important. You see, Jackson can only grow down the Highway 80 corridor. It can only grow south. It cannot grow east. Flowood is doing extremely well, and my good friend Mayor Gary Rhodes is in his last 150 days over there. Talked to him just recently. He wanted to know how he could help in his last 150 days. I told him I would be calling up on him. We can't grow north. Gene McGee in Ridgeland sits there, and my good friend Mary Hawkins Butler sits up on that northern side as well, and we can't grow in that direction. But they know that I will come to them and ask for their support in helping to move this city forward and to restore accountability in our city. We can't grow west. The Mayor of Clinton, Mayor Fisher, who recently resigned, and I don't know the name of the gentleman that replaced him, but we can't grow west because Clinton has blocked us there. So we can only grow south. And you know, not many people running for mayor will know this, but it was a tremendous injustice that occurred to the city of Jackson when it was disallowed. It was not able to annex Byram. Byram was a part of the infrastructure that we took care of. We provided water and fire protection. And we did a lot of great work down in that area of town. And Mayor Harvey Johnson attempted to annex Byram, and the courts would not allow it. Just think about what we would look like today with the growth and the development that has occurred down on the south side of town, down Highway 49, down Highway 55. Just look at the growth that is operating in the southern part of our city and our state on those two corridors. Jackson should have been a part of that, but we were not allowed to annex that. No one has invested more money than Socrates Garrett Enterprises in this community. We were the ones that took an old Sire freight terminal next to the Jackson Medical Mall and turned it into a vibrant office complex and revitalized that area, and watched and been a part of the revitalization of the medical mall. We served on the initial board of the Business Association for the medical mall as this very first president. And we put our money into putting signs and talking about and fence, talking about how to bring in that corridor back to life. Invested. We pay more in property taxes than you would ever want to imagine. Well over $100,000 a year in just property taxes in the city of Jackson. We're tremendously invested in this city. Then we come to commitment. Committed. We could have left Jackson along with most people when Jackson had created them, and Jackson gave them an opportunity to generate wealth, and then they moved to Madison. But we didn't. We built our home here in Jackson, Mississippi, a tremendous investment in that corridor out on Hanging Moss Road, there at Meadowbrook Road. We bought that property out there because we did not want any deterioration in the community moving down Hanging Moss. A lot of people came to me and wanted to put 1,200 square foot houses on that 12 acres of land there on that corridor, but we said no. No. We have to maintain the standards and maintain that community, which is the gateway, the mouth of Woodleaf and Woodhaven and Barrington Woods. These are the upscale communities in Jackson, Mississippi, where African Americans are predominantly in charge and where they live and work. And so it was important that I maintain that corridor at the entrance there because I'm committed to seeing Jackson do well. Now, as I said, we're not going to be long because we're going to come often, but we're running for mayor. I don't see anybody else that can restore Jackson like I can. And while others are complaining, we also live by the philosophy and the saying that we have to be the change that we want to see. We have to be the change that we want to see. Jackson has given so much to me. I'm a self-made man. I'm not obligated to any group. I'm not bound by any philosophy. I believe that everyone in Jackson ought to live to their fullest potential. I believe that I can help get businesses and families to come back to Jackson once we restore the trust, fix the crime, fix the streets, fix the education system. I get all of that, and that's what we're prepared to do. But I want you to understand this. The primary responsibility of the mayor of Jackson has to be that we are going to grow the rooftops in Jackson, that we're going to bring new revenue to our city. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Have you had your Earth Blend coffee today? At Earth Blend Coffee, we take pride in offering you the very best of beans across the world, blended and roasted to perfection, giving you superior quality and satisfying and flavorful taste. Experience the world in one cup with Earth Blend Coffee.
To order, visit earthblendcoffee.co now.
Welcome back. Socrates Garrett for mayor of the great city of Jackson. Jacksonians, you will be proud. We will restore trust and accountability. We will make absolutely certain that all Jacksonians are included in the growth and the prosperity that we're going to create. Our city is too poor, and that's why the mayor's responsibility is to find new revenue to move into this city. I have a plan that I will go and meet with all of the mayors in the metropolitan area, those that are just around Jackson, where their citizens are traveling through our city streets every day, and I want them to help us. I want each mayor to help us fix our streets. I want them to dedicate one crew to Jackson streets. And if we get the cooperation, which I know that I can get, if we get that cooperation, we'll put together a task force and a team like you've never seen before, where everybody that's a stakeholder is participating. I will advance the concept of a regional sales tax so that as our citizens are buying products or goods and services outside of our great city, that we share in some of those tax dollars that are being paid by Jackson citizens. We can do that. I have many creative ideas that you've not heard before, and I'll be sharing those as we go on from day to day in this program as I campaign for mayor of the great city of Jackson. I love this city. I love Jackson citizens. I know that we're underserved, and I know that we deserve better. And it starts by electing the right person to lead this city. Now, until I come back to you tomorrow, I'll just highlight some bullet points that I'll be talking about and you'll be seeing. We're going to repair Jackson streets. And I'm going to explore creating a city-run repair shop for when those potholes tear up the front of your car. We ought to help you repair it. I'm going to explore that. I don't know if it's legal or not, but I am going to explore it. We got to lower taxes and fees. We pay more for tags. We pay more for sales tax. We're at 8%, higher than any other city in the great state of Mississippi. We got to lower that. We got to expand housing options in our city, not just for the homeless, but we need new homes in our city. It's difficult to recruit entrepreneurs into our city if they don't have a quality place to live. We need housing. We got to encourage Jacksonians to return home. Those that moved out of Jackson because they lost faith in leadership, we need you to come back. Those that migrated way back in the Industrial Revolution, we need you to come back. This is going to be a big tent administration. We want the brightest, sharpest people we can find. And they're going to have the authority to run their departments in a way that makes this city successful without interference. The only interference they'll get from me is if they're underperforming and if they're not doing the job that's in their resume called for, or job description that I outlined, then they'll hear from me. We're going to strengthen the business community. I am going to personally visit every business in the city of Jackson. I know that's a gigantic task, but I got to do it either by Zoom or either by mail-outs or either by town hall meetings, but I have to understand what these businesses need to grow and expand and make money and be profitable. I want them to be as profitable as they possibly can be. We're going to strengthen our business community. We're going to prioritize the issues with South Jackson since this is the only corridor that we can grow in. We're going to fix that. We're going to utilize the Grand Gulf funds to fix that area of town. And we're going to turn Highway 80 corridor into a business improvement district and an entertainment district. We're going to do that. We're going to restore trust and accountability. You know, one of the things that I'm most proud of with President Obama is that there were no scandals. We're going to restore trust and accountability in our city. And we're going to protect all of Jackson's assets. Many of them are unknown to many of these candidates. Just what are Jackson's assets? How many water plants? How many wastewater plants? How many lift stations? How many bus stations? How many airports? We got to take a look at our land and our inventory of property and have a long-range plan of how it's going to be developed. It just can't prop up and show up. We have to have a plan to protect Jackson's assets. Now, I'm Socrates Garrett, and on April 1st, 2025, I need you to vote for me for the next mayor of the great city of Jackson. Good evening and stay safe.